Honestly, like I woke up, the day was just going, and then my sister and were just talking about like, oh my God, don't tell me this is true. Don't tell me this is true. And I was like, what? And they're like, Angus Cloud died. I didn't even know who that guy was because I don't watch Euphoria.
Yeah.
So,
I didn't know him by name, but I've seen the show.
yeah,
so
like I've seen the guy. I'm
Yeah.
familiar with the guy, and like I've seen him on the red carpet or whatever. He always seems like a kind of like a weird guy to me.
Yeah, I got like a weird like he grew up around a lot of black people type of vibe from him. I don't know.
Could be
just the way he talks. Because on the show, he is kind of like he kind of seems like a kind of Eminem 8 Mile modern version kind of. That's the vibe I get.
But they love
kind
him,
of guy,
man.
but he's not a rapper. But like
I saw him all over my timeline that entire day and the next day. And still a little bit to this day. I didn't know he was that popular because he's not a famous guy. If you walk up to anybody, like we were just saying, we don't know that nigga by name. If you walk up to anybody and it's just like, hey, you know who Angus Cloud is? I don't think many people, unless you watch Euphoria, I don't think many people know who that is.
I think his face is
maybe.
When Euphoria season 2 was popping, it was popular. Like it was like you couldn't get away from it on Twitter when it was airing.
I was just shocked.
And I saw his face everywhere.
But I'm not. I honestly wasn't shocked at the fact that they said they don't know if what the cause of death was yet, but I wasn't shocked at the fact that he might have passed away because of drug usage. He seemed like a really hurt guy. There was one, I don't know if you remember this, but there was one red carpet that it might have been the Oscars or maybe it was the Emmys. It probably was the Oscars because I don't watch the goddamn Emmys. But he was like giving one-word answers to the interviewer. Mm-hmm. Have you seen that? It was like really weird and awkward.
I don't know, man, but he's
you know what I'm talking about?
Too. I haven't seen that, but I get kind of the vibe because he's weird like that on the show. It's like he's playing himself on the show.
She was like asking him like normal questions, like, "Hey, Angus, like, how are you doing today?" He was like, "Good." Oh, so you're like, how was filming Euphoria this season? Like, you guys really like made a name for yourself this season. It was cool.
But I'm telling you, like he embodies that vibe on the show. He's literally playing himself. He has like this kind of like that kind of energy, like that kind of sad, like I don't give a fuck. Like
he's heartfelt though on the show, right? That's why he's so beloved, right?
He is. He has heartfelt moments, but he's like a drug dealer. Like he's kind of like serious. Like,
he's like people don't love him like he's a villain.
But like he has like, but he's like a nice guy though. Like he's like he's a thug. Like you know what I'm saying? But like when it comes to like people he cares about, he's like a very very soft and caring guy. Like Zendaya's character is a straight up drug addict. He is like her rock. Like he's always getting her out of shit. He's always like, she stays at his place and he cleans her up. Like
those silent types, man. Homie. Them kinds of guys scare me, man. Like I kind of felt the same way. I guess I still feel that same way, kind of about Lakeith Stanfield. Just like he's a little bit more expressive, but he's still just kind of like closeted in a way where it's like, what the hell are you thinking? Like, what's going on in your mind?
Oh, I see what you're saying. He's more like reserved, and he's like you feel like he's thinking, like he just.
But in a strange way, where like it's almost like, are you okay? Like if you're not okay, I feel like everybody else isn't gonna be okay. Not that guy is like a shooter type, and I'm not saying that at all, but just like there's something strange and it's kind of like it makes me feel like a little sinister vibes a little bit.
I don't know if I get that from Lakeith, bro.
Lakeith is crazy. I don't
know.
Like
Lakeith is just a weird thinking dude. But then I forgot about when he got in that beef with Charlotte, man. He was like
pointing a gun
on social media, holding guns. So you might be right.
And you already know these guys are depressive. Like you can easily tell like these types of people who are like super depressive. That stuff, it's different. Like the people that are really silent and they keep their depressive sides to themselves are different than the people that are just depressive, seemingly at least. I don't know if they are or not, but and it kind of like has an aura around it that other people can feel. Mm-hmm. Those types of people scare me. I don't like that I don't like that.
But let's get started.
Go ahead. Yeah, let's get it.
We've been doing this. This opener went on a little bit too long. But yeah, episode 68. All right, guys, welcome back to episode 68 of Talk
we are 68. My bad. I didn't mean to ruin your intro. I forgot we were on 68 because I missed last week.
No, we can cut that out. Yeah. All right, everybody, welcome back to episode 68 of Talk Podcast. My name is Pelio Poppy.
Nick Hogan here.
Yeah, man, we back. We back, man.
Back together.
Yeah, man. This is a big week as usual, but for you Lizzo haters, y'all about to eat. Just letting you know, she has a lot of haters. Y'all about to eat, and I'm curious to know What y'all gonna say in the comments? Now y'all gonna have another a legitimate reason to hate her.
I'm wondering what you mean by
I'm
that.
gonna say.
Yeah. I was like, are you about to lead with hate right now?
No, because I think before I learned about all this, I thought they just hating on her because she's overweight, and that's fucked up.
Clearly,
not
yeah,
cool.
that was an obvious reason.
Clearly,
yeah,
right. But then and some people have other reasons where they say like she's minstrel showing, which I agree with to a certain extent.
Hold on, let's unpack that for a second.
Yeah,
how?
Well,
she's one of the most pro-black people that I know.
They don't say that. They don't just say this about her in particular, but they say just like the whole like twerking on stage and like showing her ass and like going to like public settings with like remember she went to that concert and like she had like a dress that was like the ass was like cut out.
She was at the Laker game, yeah.
She was at the Laker game, yeah. Like a lot of people they don't like her for that. But the minstrel showing is that she was like playing like the people said she's like plays up to like the mammy kind of. Like a mammy kind of stereotype. Like,
if she was skinny, would we still say that though?
Probably not.
So it leads with the hate of the fat phobicness.
That's true. We see it all roots from there. But the one that I kind of agree with, out of all that other stuff that I don't agree with,
okay,
is playing the crystal flute of the slave master guy. That's kind of coonish.
Wait, what?
Remember she was playing that? This is like over a year ago. She was like playing this crystal flute that belonged to like a slave master.
Oh, I didn't know it belonged to a slave master. I remember they were making a big deal out of the fact that it was like some historical flute, but I didn't know it was a slave master. So she shouldn't have done that.
No, I think that's coonish. I'm not like like I'm trying to think of it like a modern example. If I'm like this mic was made by a guy who's a notorious. He owns this mic company. It was made by a notorious anti-black racist, and I'm like, I am honored to speak on top of your podcast with this mic. Like
I see what you mean.
Like,
yeah. I see what you mean. I didn't think about it like that, but I didn't even know that I'm surprised I didn't make a bigger deal. You're the first person that's ever told me about that.
Yeah, people, dude, they was like tripping. The white supremacists was like, it was like weird, dude. They was like, well, why she's disrespecting his honor by playing that flute?
Oh my god, it's being touched by black hands.
Yeah, man. But yeah, let's unpack Lizzo.
Let's open it
up. There's a lawsuit against Lizzo, her dance company, and one of her dance captains.
Yes, sir.
For a myriad of offenses.
Yeah.
So two of her dancers are suing them because on one occasion, she asked them to come to an Amsterdam sex show, and they were uncomfortable going, but they felt like their employment would be jeopardized if they went. And when they went, they were being pressured to touch some of the dancers sexually.
Yeah, sexually.
And they refused to do so, and they were very uncomfortable.
No, I think they did, and then they started applauding, and then they started like kind of like laughing at them at the fact that
I didn't see that they actually did it, but I do remember that they said they were uncomfortable. That's even worse.
Yeah,
honestly.
And like just in that one situation, like I don't want to make it seem like I'm leading in this conversation with the fact that like there's excuses as to the reason why they shouldn't have been in these situations. But with that particular situation, I really do feel like they had the authority and autonomy to just kind of get themselves out of that situation. It was number one, it wasn't mandatory for them to go to that strip club.
Right.
Let's say they just wanted to, they felt that their employment was in danger, whatever. You're going to be treated differently if you're not hanging out with Lizzo, whatever. I understand that point. That's why I don't want to make it seem like I'm saying that it wasn't, like they shouldn't have been in that situation. It probably wasn't anything that they could help. But at the same time, like the peer pressure thing, I've never really vibed with the whole idea that like peer pressure it's real, but I don't know if it's real to the point where like you can't escape peer pressure.
Right.
In that situation, you could just be like, no, it's okay. I'm good off of it. I don't need to be doing it. But I don't.
But this is where I gotta disagree, is because I look at this from like a Japanese culture perspective. Like in Japanese culture, you work all day, you leave when the boss leaves. So the boss, if he's like, fuck it, I'm getting at 6 a.m., I'm leaving at 9. Right? And you only work from 6 to 3.
Which is why they're there.
He said, exactly. But he's like, you don't leave until he leaves, and he's a workaholic, you're fucked.
Which is why they're there, yeah.
And then he's like, you know what, y'all? We're gonna go drinking from 9 to 1. All right. Now if you don't go, it's looked down upon. Like you're like in the workplace, like you're lower tier. Like,
but the harassment,
you're ostracized.
The harassment,
if you don't go,
that
you're expected to go. That affects your job. That's part of the job now, is to go drinking.
But so I guess I see what you're saying. If we're trying to keep the analogy going, it's kind of like you might go to the bar because you want to be around the boss, whatever. You want to make sure that you're in good faith, but you don't want to drink. You're not a drinker. But
No, you
feel
got to
like,
participate
yeah,
in
you
drinking
feel
too.
like you have to participate in order to,
If
I see what you're saying. So
if the boss is like, here's this pint, and you said, no, I'm good. That also is the same as if you just decided you didn't want to go.
I don't know, man. I still feel like that's what we were talking about earlier. I still feel like if you really felt like you were in an uncomfortable situation, if you really felt like this was a toxic environment, we're going to get to other cases that they were talking about too. If this is just one of the cases, I'm sure there were plenty that happened beforehand. If it's that toxic to where you're constantly feeling uncomfortable, you're constantly feeling like they're pressuring you to do certain things that are against your principles and against who you are as a person, leave that situation, which means like quit that job. You don't have to.
That's a good point.
And who wants, like, obviously if you're a dancer, being a fucking touring dancer with Lizzo, great accomplishment. Anybody would want that, right? So it's like you don't want to lose that opportunity. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, that's a resume changer. But at the same time, it's like, bro, like this is a toxic environment. I would leave that. I would leave that. I'm sorry. Like,
yeah.
And I don't want to make it seem like I'm blaming them. I'm not blaming them for anything. But at the same time, like you have the opportunity to get yourself out of that situation. You just chose not to do it because you fell into peer pressure. Peer pressure is like, I don't want to make it seem like it's a choice, but peer pressure, you'd make the choice to fall into peer pressure. You're being pressured, but you're not actually having to do the act by anybody's. It's not like they were forced to do it. They didn't take their hands and like make them feel up the fucking strippers.
And yeah, but I'm just saying, like, if that's the best job you probably ever gonna find, that's your big break, right? You're not gonna be a backup dancer for a star as big as Lizzo ever again. You might want to stay and get that resume booster, but you're gonna be kind of forced to do some unfavorable stuff.
Your choice. That's your choice.
That's questionable. It's your choice, but if you get sued for it, I don't know where. I mean, what can you really say? You shouldn't have been to Lizzo. I mean, you shouldn't have been making them do that shit.
What else
if you
were they
get
talking
sued?
about?
Oh well. There's a lot of stuff. There's another one where there was a I believe it was another dancer. It was a male dancer. She pulled his pants down and started beating him with whips. Now, he wasn't in the lawsuit, but they brought that up. But I don't know, man. Maybe we don't know. See, we don't know if he enjoyed it. He was
I'm
cool
just
with
playing.
it. But like,
I don't want to make light of it, but I'm just playing.
That's like straight up sexual harassment, like just period.
And that was like
we don't know if
the majority of the
sexual assault.
Yeah, the majority of the accusations were sexual assault and sexual harassment.
There's some more. There's some more fat shaming where she was fat shamed, specifically her black dancers, and she wouldn't say shit to the white dancers. Apparently, she called them. She was using all the white supremacist stereotypes. They were lazy and uncouth and all not showing up on time and all kinds of stuff, and that's why they're gaining weight because they're lazy.
Yeah,
it's like Lizzo, stop.
Yeah,
and if anything, them gaining weight probably falls in line more with her body positivity.
That's what she was going for. I think
I don't even really know what she's talking about.
I think she made a conscious decision to make sure that she was including plus size people as her dancers, primarily black women too. I think that was like her whole shtick.
Exactly.
That's her brand.
I don't even know what she's talking about.
Yeah, that's why it was such a shock to hear that this news came out about her being like a bully in those situations. Maybe she's self-loathing. But that's why it was such a shock, because that's your entire brand. Like you champion that issue the most. So for actually you to be behind closed doors, not down with what you're trying to preach to the masses, it's almost like, what do you call that? Where it's like
grifting.
Yeah, it's like a grift. It's weird. I did not expect that. And I'm not a big
like
Lizzo fan at all. But
he's pandering towards black women.
I did not expect that. Yeah.
But we don't really know how he feels behind closed doors. But like, it's like she's just pandering. She has a whole fan base of people who are body positivity, maybe plus size, and she probably just think they all fat asses. But like, this is true.
I wonder what
like,
she thinks about herself.
She probably doesn't care.
It's probably like, self-loathing.
It's pretty self-loathing because people were saying like the internet. This is the internet before this broke. It showed her with a shirt, without a shirt.
Oh, the Rick Ross meme?
Empowering. Then it showed Rick Ross is sitting there, and it was just like, nigga, put on a shirt.
Nigga, put on a shirt.
And then it said, post Lizzo allegations. It flipped around. It showed Rick Ross shirtless instead of empowering. And it said, with her, it said, nigga, put on a shirt.
Now, do you think she's going to be able to come back from this? I love having this
This is
conversation. We had the same conversation with Travis too.
I honestly don't think this is crazy enough, and it's pretty crazy. But I think she's good.
It's wild, bro. Some of those stories were wild.
I just feel like unless they get her in 4K, I don't think people are gonna care.
What does that mean to you though? Because they already went on TMZ. They've been on Good Morning America. They're already getting the press run.
That's a good point.
So there's enough credibility here for people to be like, oh, okay, like these women seem credible enough for me to bring them onto this ABC, Disney, like this huge platform for them to actually speak their minds.
Because people have been saying that the whole media is turning on her. So maybe if the media is kind of the judge, jury, executioner most of the time, unless the grassroots gets on her, and the grassroots don't like Lizzo like that. So she might be out to dry. I think it's most likely she's done, but I still think there's a chance where she could argue it.
Because she's had such a clean image so far. You know,
and
what
if they don't win the lawsuits, she might be fine.
And the lawsuits where it's like they would just get like a payment. They probably just get like a financial.
I think they're going to settle. Yeah.
Okay.
Financial payment.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of plays into the cancel culture conversation a little bit too, because like Lizzo has had such, like I just said, Lizzo's had such a clean slate thus far. She was literally like one of the biggest brands a celebrity could possibly have in terms of, you know, how far reaching she is with the demographics. Children love her, adults love her, middle-aged people love her. I don't think there's any demographic that she doesn't touch. And for her to have such a clean image thus far, and then you have the one, and these are pretty grave accusations, but for her to have this one time where like she's getting accusations and people, if they're just going to defile her right here and right now, and it's just over for Lizzo, that cancel culture conversation comes up a little bit, which I don't really believe in that cancel culture conversation, because I don't think that, you know, just one thing, unless you go to prison and you're just locked away for 20 years, I don't think a career is just permanently going to be over. Lizzo is Lizzo at the end of the day.
Yeah. Lizzo's Lizzo. She has her fans. She has people who don't care. Doja Cat does wild shit all the time. Speaking of, if you want to move into Doja Cat,
what do you want to say?
People don't care. Well, and this is a quick one. This is not like a major topic on Doja Cat, but she just dropped some new music and it sounds exactly the same as any other music she puts out. For the last month or two, she's been going on a rant like, well, I played y'all, like those last two albums was popping, and y'all put me on. Now I'm gonna make the music I want to make it. Oh well. Oh, so sorry for the old fans. And
she's been bullying her fans like hard,
bullying them, telling them like I don't care about y'all and what. Well, I got mine. Fuck y'all.
No accusations though. The only accusation, and it's facts, so it's not even an accusation, is that she's dating that Jay Cyrus guy who I think is problematic. I'm not really too up on Jay Cyrus.
I'm not really too up on him either.
But they were saying I think he's a sexual offender, perhaps. I don't
think so.
You know, you have to fact check me. I'm not knowledgeable on it, but
it might be like a Nicki Minaj situation with her.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is similar to that. And that, but like, no one's gonna. I mean, they're not gonna get rid of Doja Cat. Like, they're not gonna cancel Doja Cat, but to put it in the perspective of how we were talking about Lizzo's much bigger than Doja Cat. Much more far.
You think so?
Yes.
I think so, yeah.
Yes. She reaches a lot more people.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm sure that your mom knows, your dad knows who Lizzo is, but they probably don't know.
They don't. My mom hates Lizzo.
They probably don't know
Doja Cat. Lizzo. Been talking about shit about Lizzo since she came out.
Why? Why do people hate Lizzo so much?
I just think she's annoying and just isn't talented.
She's very talented, but that's her own personal opinion. But just like the hate, if we're just going to talk about the hate just in general, because she's like one of the most hated celebrities probably right now. I don't understand how, like, there's really nothing you can hate on her about. She preaches good shit.
But you know what's crazy? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You got it.
You said she preaches good shit?
No, you got it. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, you know, maybe people feeling it in the gut, man. Like,
pause.
You know, oh, come on, bro.
I'm sorry. Continue.
People are just feeling intuitively, if you believe that stuff, I do, that she's just not a bad person. It would be hilarious, like, if we just, like, all this is confirmed, and she is just like an evil,
she would be evil
monster of a person.
Yeah, if
and people would be like, yeah, we kind of case that shit out.
And if she settles it looks even worse. It looks even worse. It will look just as bad.
Yeah,
if they were to win that lawsuit,
we kind of felt that. We could see it on her.
I didn't, I mean, she's always seemed like such a good soul to me. I don't know. She has a really humble backstory. I never really felt like there was a need for me to hate on Lizzo. And we already unpacked that part, but the only real hate that people can point to is the fact that she's fat, which is like, you're really gonna hate on somebody because they're fat? That's pretty silly. And the
That's
whole like
very
twerking
silly.
and stuff like that,
The
like
whole
twerking,
twerking and stuff, or they're just like,
twerking. Sure, it's like, it's maybe you could say it's not a good look because it's, you know, very
I feel
sexual.
like
It's a very
I feel
sexual
like
dance.
it's degrading. I feel like it's like if you go like it's different if you like twerking on somebody in the club, like that's your business.
But it's
like,
just a dance.
I just feel like that like sexy red shit and that like that Ice Spice just like twerking in the streets. I just feel like it sends a bad image. Maybe I'm wrong, right? But like we send into the world, these are Negroes, right?
But Negroes aren't the only ones that twerk.
I understand that, but they just copying us. But like that's a small subset of our culture being magnified and said that that's all of us, which is what people have a problem with, I'd say.
I mean, maybe. I don't know. It's just a dance to me. If you want to talk about twerking with like no clothes on, twerking at the strip club and stuff like that, the little add-ons, maybe that's different. That's a different conversation perhaps because it's more of a sexual thing. But just twerking in general, if you're fully clothed and you just out here twerking, niggas twerk. Like, why is it only a pro? That's why I'm just like this. It's just a dance. Like, who fucking cares?
Right.
Why, if niggas were to be twerking, niggas, by niggas I mean men. I need to start being more specific when I say niggas.
Yeah.
If men are out here twerking, no one's gonna have those same
I think
reasons.
I think it'd be worse. I think it'd be worse if men were twerking because dudes are because twerking is very feminine. Like if a dude's twerking, I'm going to assume that he's probably gay or LGBT.
So
You
then
get what I'm saying?
it's even more problematic because then it's linked to homophobia.
So they would be tripping even more because the homophobia would come out.
But I'm talking to you. You said you
What do you
think
mean?
it has a bad image to it too.
Oh, I think it has a bad image. Period. It's gonna be both. It's gonna be then the next. I think it has a bad image in general. But I'm just saying, if men are doing it, it's gonna be even worse than this perception. Not just the perception towards. I'm saying that the perception globally is gonna be even worse because then the homophobia is gonna come out. There's still gonna be the anti-black racism in it. Then it's gonna be they're gonna be talking about testosterone levels dropping and people talk crazy. I heard someone on Twitter the other day. It was like they putting chemicals in the water that's turned male frogs into women. It's like clearly it's working. Like people talk crazy on the internet, dude.
Yeah, they do, but I don't think that twerking is that's silly to me. That's silly to me. I think black people just need to figure out a way for us to I didn't even think about that thought really. But black people, I think, just have a lot of things that we point to and say, like, this is the reason why we're looked at a certain way. This is the reason why systemic things are continuing to happen. Twerking is not one of them. I think I have to leave it at that. Twerking is not.
That's a good point. I can get down with that because like a lot of people will say, well, if you just pulled your pants up and stop twerking, magically, and magically your economics, there's no racism. Just stop twerking and just go to school.
Yeah,
but
stop wearing the baggy
and just
clothes.
magically your perceived racism is over.
Stop
and
wearing
they're not
the
talking about how
chains.
they redlining you and not defunding your schools and
You see what I'm saying?
and letting your water be toxic and we can keep going.
Twerking is
right?
not the scapegoat. Twerking.
Then
should
all
not be the
that's going
scapegoat.
to just magically end too, all right? If we stop twerking, that should be the question. So if we stop twerking and pull our pants up, are y'all going to stop redlining us? Are y'all going to clean up Flint? Are y'all going to pay out reparations? Is that what's going to happen?
Yeah, it just seems silly to me. It seems silly. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We want to talk about Jamie Foxx.
Let's talk about Jamie. Jamie, they getting in his ass right now.
For
He's getting canceled. He's having a Nick Cannon moment.
It's a good reason. Though.
He's having a Nick Cannon moment.
It was very like let's unpack it a little bit. Go ahead and intro
So
it.
Jamie put up a post that said they killed Jesus. I'm pretty sure he said it.
Yeah.
They killed Jesus.
Yeah.
Like it was just very vague.
Like what do you think they do?
But
to
what
you?
do you What do you think they do to you? That's what the last part was. Yeah.
And
They
it's the
killed
they.
Jesus.
It's
What do you
the
think they
they
do?
in there. And it's
Right.
not the they for the reasons of the homophobia. It's the they because people love to say, why are you saying they? The pronouns, whatever. But it's the
Right.
they related to the fact that he's talking about Jesus and Jews killed Jesus. So people are saying
But the
that
Romans
it's anti-Semitic.
killed Jesus, and I got it corrected. Now the Jews, Judas and Jews were involved in it, but the Romans killed Jesus. The Romans were the ones who
yeah.
tormented and tortured him.
But people from the Jewish community saw that, and I don't know too much about anti-Semitism. It takes a lot of people to like come out and be vocal about things like that in order for me. If it's not just a overtly racist or overtly, if it's not like an overt hate crime where someone's going in and killing a bunch of Jewish people, it's hard for me to see the nuance in anti-Semitism. But the Jewish community felt like this was anti-Semitic because it was referring to Jews being killers.
Right. But I've also seen black people see it from the perspective of Jesus was a black man. We're the real Jews. And they was killed by a bunch of white Romans. And they just don't understand our language. I've seen that argument. I've seen people say that these are just white people jumping in when they don't understand the language. They don't understand what we're really talking about.
And then at the end of the day, because he came out and obviously had to apologize and walk back what he said. But at the end of the day, he said that he wasn't even talking about they. But that's the thing when the people start posting these like weird like reposts and stuff like that. Like, where are you getting this stuff from anyway? You know, because it might not mean that to you. That might not be the way that you meant it when you how you perceived it, how you interpreted that quote. But when you repost it, it's like, where did you find that at? Because it probably does mean that at the end of the day.
Yeah.
It probably does mean that. Like, who is the they? I'm sure he didn't write that quote. I don't know if he said that in his statement. Do you know?
I don't think he said that. I just know that he apologized. Jennifer Aniston liked the post and then she denounced him.
Yeah, they got on her too. Yeah.
They got on her ass.
Now, what do you mean by she denounced him? Because that's what people are saying on the internet is like, we're going to make sure like Jennifer Aniston is the real betrayer here. What do you mean by she denounced Jamie? She didn't say anything directly to Jamie.
She didn't say anything directly to Jamie, but she was clearly talking about what he was talking about, and she liked the post. She's distancing herself and was like, that's not me. That's on that Negro, basically.
How so?
Well, she basically said she doesn't condone anti-Semitism and, implying that what he said was anti-Semitic.
Which
and that
he said
that's on him.
Which he said himself
exactly
was.
what I just said. Right.
But that's not denouncing Jamie. I don't see it the same way that you see it. I think that it's just, I'm going to remove myself from the veil of making it seem like I liked an anti-Semitic post. And I think that's fine. If she said, yeah, Jamie Foxx said something anti-Semitic, she didn't say that. She just said, no, I'm not an anti-Semite. I can't believe you guys would think this. I liked the post because I perceived it a different way. I was supporting a friend or whatever the fuck she said. That's why I liked the post. Yeah,
I mean, if it's anti-Semitic, that's not cool. Take that down. That's all I gotta say. But like, I don't. And if he meant it that way and he said that, then that's what he meant. But a lot of people are saying that they feel like he was being pushed into apologizing for something that he didn't mean that way. If he meant it, but then the argument that black people are making, people still say it's anti-Semitic anyway. So either way, it's if he apologizes for it, it's going to be the same thing.
You gotta apologize. Right. You gotta walk back what you said. I mean, that's very important. He has to do that. So does Jennifer Aniston. Number one, they're public figures.
For their careers and their public figures.
That's not even number one. Yeah. That's not even number one, but that's a very important part. Like that matters. The first thing that matters is that like an entire group of people felt like that was racist. So you're going to have to walk that back. If you made a tweet today you were having a conversation on Twitter about some crypto stuff and you said something and a whole bunch of people, 1,000 people got in your comments and was like, yo, bro, like that's racist. Are you going to apologize or you just be like, oh, well, I didn't mean it that way? You're going to stand your ground.
I'm probably going to apologize.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the right thing to do. Oh, I thought it was because that's the right thing to do.
Well, it's the right thing to do, but I also want them to leave me alone. But like people, like let me explain the perspective I was thinking. If I'm just talking about some, maybe it's not necessarily crypto, but I'm just talking about some objective, like this is some shit that happened in history.
Yeah,
you're anti-white racist for bringing that up. I'm not going to apologize. I'm like, this is documented. But if I said some legitimately racist shit, I'm going to apologize for it. Yeah. I didn't mean to.
Yeah. That's all.
Yeah, that makes sense. If I said some legitimately racist shit I didn't mean to say that and they got in my ass, I'm going to apologize because, hey, I didn't
that's how,
know it was like that.
Then you can explain yourself like this is how I actually meant it, but I understand that you guys were offended and I apologize for that. I'll do better.
That's really all I got to say about the situation. It's just another I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to remember who said this. Isn't there like a friend of ours posts this list of like this artist. She's a white artist, and she was just like, these people are overrated. And then like a year after that, all of them have gotten in some kind of hurt or some kind of.
What's her
Carly
fucking
Rae
name?
Jepsen or
no?
Lana Del Rey or
yes, Lana Del Rey. Yes, that's what she said.
Yeah, they got in her ass.
And it's funny. You know what's funny about that is that now people are using that as a meme because like
They say it's the curse. The curse
yeah,
of Lana or whatever.
isn't that crazy? People completely
Yeah.
forgot about what they were saying like a year ago about it and how it was racist, and now they're just using it as something to make fun of.
Right.
That's
She's
kind of
like,
that's
I
kind
should
of
be
crazy.
more popular
Man. The
than
internet
Beyonce.
is stupid.
I should
Internet
be
is
more
stupid.
popular than Beyonce. Beyonce's overrated. He was talking crazy.
I think she was talking about, and I don't know shit, but I think she was talking about the fact that they're able to make certain songs about female empowerment, and they get a certain doing it a certain way that might be like more sexually explicit, and she's not given the room and given the space to do the same. But people were mad because all the women she named were brown women and black women.
Yeah, they got in their ass. Have you heard from her?
All I've been seeing is she's like hanging out with like, I gotta be really careful with my words, but she's been hanging around like Southern people.
Oh, so she went that direction.
I don't
niggas
know.
got in her
I don't
the
want to
niggas-
say too much.
Well, hold
'cause
on,
I
hold
want
on.
to be careful.
Hold on, I'm just saying the niggas got in their ass and she put on the Klan robe.
I'm not-
Quietly though,
I didn't
subtly.
say it. I didn't say it. I didn't say it.
She hanging out with this is a small try that in a small town dudes.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh shit. Shit.
I want to talk about Barbie, bro. I want to get my shit off for Barbie. I don't know Ben Shapiro, but I want to talk about Barbie a little bit because I went to go see that last weekend when I was in Vegas. And my first thoughts on it was like, it's all. Can I do spoilers? Do you mind?
I do not care about spoilers.
I'm not going to
Do care
spoil
about
too
that movie.
much, like about the plot of the movie or like what goes down in story. But just for the audience, spoiler alert, I suppose, because I will be talking about like the overarching conversation. But
And look in the description if you want to skip it.
yeah, just head to a different timestamp or whatever. But yeah, man, when I went to see the movie, obviously, like the movie is just it's speaking blatantly to the patriarchy. Like that's what the movie is about. It's like Barbie lives in a Barbie world, and all of the Barbies, who are all women, obviously control everything. Like they're the head of the Senate, they're like the top leaders, they're everything. They have all the power. And then Ken, who's the guy Barbie, they have to go to like the real world or whatever, and then he figures out about patriarchy. He finds out about patriarchy, and then he takes that back to the Barbie land and then switches everything up. And so now all the Kens, all the men rule everything. So at the end of the movie, basically like the conflict resolution comes about where they figure out that patriarchy is bad and they put the women back in place. And then the Barbies kind of like make a deal with the Kens and say like, you guys eventually over time will be able to get as much power in Barbie world as real women have in the real world, which is hilarious.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
That's crazy.
But I thought the movie, like when I first watched the movie, because people are going to get hit so hard, especially if you're a guy, because it feels like you're being attacked, right? That's why Ben Shapiro got all pissed off. Because it feels like they're just like making fun of men the entire time. But I was just so impressed over time, like the more I thought about it, at just like how they were able to take this idea of a fucking Barbie doll and put a political message to it, not even just political, but a societal message to it that actually made sense and makes you actually have to think about shit. I can't get pissed off about it because it's a fictional world. Like, why are we
It's literally
upset?
fiction.
Like, they left the real world the way it was. In the real world,
But it is a social commentary of sorts. We
Of
can't
course.
just act like it exists in a bubble.
Of
I mean, he
course.
literally went to the real world and was like, "Oh shit."
men are ruining.
In it.
Yeah, men
Yeah,
are in
like-
charge of everything.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like the movie is just saying, like, oh yeah, like the Barbies rule everything. It's like a complete opposite of the real world. What the fuck is there to get mad at as a guy?
And I've heard people say that like the movie also. I watched a review of it and they said like it was like understanding that patriarchy hurts men too, and
Yeah.
in critical ways.
Yeah, because
That are not talked about. Yeah.
and which was also like that's why I can't get upset about that movie, bro. It's so poignant. What happens is that Barbie, because everybody thinks that Barbie's like in love with Ken. Like that's the whole joke. Is like, why doesn't Barbie want Ken? And at the end of the movie, she's like, you have to figure out your own definition. Like I figured out my definition of who I am as a woman, where I fit in society as a woman. You need to figure out where you fit without trying to be with a woman, without having to do. You need to figure out your definition of who you are as a man without trying to deal with women, is basically how she set it up.
Right.
how the movie set it up, which speaks to like men in general, because the reason why like a lot of men would be so hurt and feel so attacked by a movie like that, or just any political message that has to any social commentary about the fact that men, there's a patriarchy and things of that nature, is because we can't, as men, I don't want to speak for myself, but as men, it's hard for us to feel like we have any type of meaning in the world without being attributed, without having to like attribute our power to like masculinity and like
Right.
being
like
dominant.
like a rigid wall.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
Being in charge, being the leader, being the number one, the alpha male. Why can't you just be you? You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Like, why can't you just be an individual who's just of the world and do what you do of the world as the person that you are, as the person that, like, you don't have to, like, what is a man? Like, everyone likes to have conversations now about, like, because of trans rights and stuff like that, about, like, what is a woman and stuff like that. Right. What is a man? You ever ask that question?
We don't, I guess, and I've heard people talk about it like this before, what is a man, what is a woman, but, like, people are still holding society to a hunter-gatherer mentality. I mean, if you think about a hunter-gatherer society, and I'm not saying women couldn't go out, and I'm sure they did go out on hunts, but if a woman's at home and she's the caretaker and she's pregnant, the man's got to go and get the food just logically. Like, this is not even me just talking crazy. Mm-hmm. Like, if woman's the caretaker and maybe she's pregnant too, she probably can do a little gathering, sure, herbs and plants and berries and whatever, but she's probably not going to be at a place where she can actually go out and hunt a big ass game. You know what I mean? But like, you see how society is still held to that kind of standard. Like, you're a man, you got to go up, you got to go get the bread. But it's still like you're being held to, like, you're going to hunt like a big ass bison. You know what I'm saying? You're going to hunt like a big ass animal.
Yeah, but that's like, what patriarchy
we don't
done.
Live in that world. We don't live in that world anymore.
But that's what patriarchy has done.
You have to be held to that.
So at the end of the day, it's like you're trying to push back against people criticizing patriarchy and alleviating the oppressiveness of patriarchy. But at the same time, you feel inherently, just to your point about the fact that like a lot of men feel like they're still having to be protectors and providers. You're still oppressed by patriarchy in your own way as a man.
Because if you're not doing those things, and there's nothing wrong with being a provider. Let's get that clear. Nobody's saying, but I just think it's perfectly fine if both people are providing in their own critical way. And it could be more than just money, even though money is what runs the world. So of course, I think everybody, man or woman, should be contributing financially to a household. But that doesn't mean you can't be a stay-at-home dad who works part-time and takes care of the kids mostly.
If that's what you want to
do. That doesn't make you less of a man.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine.
Because, like, what is a man? Like, I'm genuinely asking, like, what is a man?
Yeah. Somebody with 2 sets of nuts, a cock, and testosterone.
That's sex.
I think that's a man is deep ass voice.
I think that
you know
that's
what I mean.
I'm talking about in terms of.
But that's what I'm saying. Just at its rawest form, that's what I would describe as a man.
Oh yeah, I think of it differently because I separate the gender and the sexes.
You could be anything you want to be. At the end of the day, you're still a man. You can do whatever you want to do.
That's not what people have over through time. That's not how society has constructed.
Society says a real man is XYZ in the third, plus all that other stuff, that baseline stuff I just mentioned. If you don't have all those extra stuff, you're not a real man. You're a man. They'll call you a weak man or a beta, but you're a man nonetheless.
Yeah. I don't know. I just wanted to give my 2 cents. I didn't want to get into the whole. I could have that conversation, but I wasn't planning on having that whole conversation.
Now you make me want. Now I want to go watch the movie. Shit,
it's a good ass movie, man. It's interesting because it's like there's like a whole sect of children who are gonna go watch that movie, and there was a lot of like, I don't want to say perverted jokes, but there was a lot of like adult jokes in there that children just aren't gonna understand. But what I was saying is like it's very interesting how like there's a whole bunch of children that are going to go watch that movie because of the fact that it's Barbie and that it's a cultural phenomenon because of the fact that it's a Barbie movie. But then there's a whole group of adults and a whole audience of adults who are going to go watch that movie and see it. Maybe they go in thinking it's just, this is just a Barbie movie, but are going to have their entire world flipped around when they actually start to see that political conversation being had. I have to give a round of applause for that movie because I thought that was a really good movie. I'm definitely going to try to watch it again. That's a classic. Like because we talk about movies and film a lot, or not a lot, but sometimes on this podcast feed. and we're two of the biggest criticizers of current day Hollywood.
Yes.
Modern day Hollywood, and how they just keep regurgitating the same shit. This is a classic.
Bullshit and remake after remake after remake.
This is what we were waiting for. It's just something completely original. I can genuinely say I've never seen a movie like this. People are going to say Life Size. Remember the Tyra Banks, Lindsay Lohan movie?
Yeah.
People are going to say that, but it wasn't this. It wasn't this. There was a message in that movie too, but it wasn't Barbie. And of course, Hollywood is going to get their hands on it. I think it just crossed $1 billion this week.
What?
Dude, the movie is huge.
I didn't know it was doing, but the Oppen Barbie thing was big. I didn't realize it was that.
And you already know what
Barbie Heimer shit.
Yeah, you already know what Hollywood is going to do. They already said, yeah, we're going to start making a whole bunch of feature-length films for all these Hasbro toys.
Dude, they're doing a Mattel Cinematic Universe. I'm like,
stupid. Or maybe Mattel, not Hasbro. That's so dumb.
Bro.
I can't believe that they took something this original, this fucking unique, that's once in a lifetime, and now they're going to try to make a goddamn cinematic universe out of it.
That was like the most random toys too. Like just some. I don't remember what it was. But it was like
my heart.
I was like, really, dude?
If this was the '90s and they had fucking they would have made a goddamn cinematic universe out of Forrest Gump. Like it's out of Titanic, my nigga.
Like, they would have had, man. If Forrest Gump came out this year, they were like, we were already working on the Bubba spinoff today.
I'm telling you, that's so.
We're working on the Bubba spinoff.
That's so annoying. It's so.
We're working on the Lieutenant Dan sequel today.
Exactly.
You already know. Yep.
And a Forrest Gump too. That's so annoying. That's so annoying. I can't. It's gonna be part 1 and part 2. I don't understand, and I don't even want to get into that. We're not talking about film today. That's all the film I had. What do we want?
Let's talk about the Ogun spirit. If you know, you know.
I don't know.
But Montgomery. So yesterday in Montgomery. I don't know which river it was, but it looked like it was on a river in Montgomery, Alabama. There was a big ass boat that was pulling into the dock, and a black security guard went up to like a smaller boat, and there was some white people on it, and he was like, "Hey guys, we need you to move. There's a big boat coming in." They got off the boat and started whooping his ass.
Yeah, I saw that video. Yeah,
they started jumping the shit out of him, like dogging the shit out of him.
Probably white supremacists,
stomping him. Probably white supremacists. This is Alabama.
Did they say what they were fighting for? It was
they didn't say the guy. It was just like the guy. He just told him, "Hey guys, you can't park here," and they just swung on him. They probably were drunk and racist. I don't know.
There was a grip of them too,
and it was like,
hold on. It was a gang of them.
It was a gang, dude. It was like they was like, "We gonna whoop this N-word's ass. We're gonna jump the shit out of him."
There was a gang,
dude. After that happened, while that was happening, the fucking Avengers pulled up. I swear to God. The fucking Avengers pulled up.
Yeah.
First, all you see is like people just running back and forth. Like there's a lot of black people just running back and forth, like in the video. Like they weren't really. I guess they were trying to get down to him, so you just see them just sprinting. People just taking off, like 1 here, 2 here, and then next thing you know, you see this dude just swimming on the water, just swimming, fast as hell. He gets out of the water and he just starts swinging.
Mm-hmm.
He just starts swinging, and then next thing you know, you just seeing people just come left and right, left and right, left and right. And then all the white people retreated to the boat. So at this point, they're all on the boat, and then there's like 30 black people just standing outside the boat, like, "What's up? What's going on?" It wasn't even 30 because it more and more showed up. It was like 10 were there. We're like, "Come on, dog! Like, we saw what you did to this man."
Yeah.
And they just started swinging on it. It just took off, and the brawl just erupted to like. It was probably like 20 white people versus like 50 black people.
And this is why
people were taking chairs and swinging chairs.
This is one of those reasons why, like, I just don't see myself. I live in the South. If you want to consider Texas the South, I think it's considered the South. But
it's technically deep South too.
But that real South, like that civil rights movement South,
Alabama, Mississippi,
Louisiana, I ain't going. Like
slave labor camps, they don't talk about private prisons.
That's one of the reasons I ain't going down there. And we were saying that earlier. I'm gonna say it one more time, but like. Racism exists everywhere in the United States, everywhere in the world. But when I'm living in certain states, like a California, that's something that's not normal. That doesn't happen like that down there.
I said that probably doesn't. It's not gonna happen like that. But I've been all over the states. I've been through the Deep South too. I've only been called the N-word in Los Angeles, California.
It's different than getting physically assaulted, though. It's different than getting physically assaulted. Like
and jumped.
That was a hate crime.
He was just trying to do his job, dude. Literally just trying to do his job. He probably does that all day. Like, hey guys, we got a boat coming through. You guys got to move up. Most of the time, they're probably, all right, cool. All right, oh, big ass boat coming. Boat was huge. It looked like it was like one of those like, you know how that like in those movies, like those like steamboats on the bayou. Like it looked like one of those like kind of like people going there for like an experience, just riding on through like a big ass lake or river in the South. Like I've seen movies where they have like these big ass boats like on the bayou in New Orleans.
Yeah,
it's that kind of thing.
River
So they were
boats.
coming in, and it was crazy too, because like when they started swinging on them, it started when one guy started swinging on him. Then all these other white dudes just came out of the woodworks. Some on the boat, some not on the boat. They got on code and started jumping the shit out of him. But before that happened, before the guy took the first swing, he knew it was coming, so he just took his hat off and threw it up in the air. And he threw it high in the air, and then the dude just hit him. And then they start dogpiling him.
He's like, it's time to get down.
But I just think it's crazy, man. I'm sure this can happen anywhere, but like at least I was like, what do you think about this? Do you think it's just business as usual? People were surprised because it was like, for the Deep South, you would think people would be more like, kind of like, oh, I don't mean any trouble. I don't mean any trouble. You know what I'm saying?
People?
Like, yeah, that's what people were saying in the comments. They was like, we felt like this had to be New York or Detroit for people to start really. If they saw something like that in New York or Detroit, this would happen. They were surprised it was happening in the Deep South, because the Deep South in a lot of ways
random
is
guy
kind of
get
back in
attacked
time.
out of nowhere. Someone's probably gonna hop in there. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised that.
I mean, pulled up deep. I mean, it was like stood on business. Like, we're done with this shit. We're not gonna just allow a whole bunch of white supremacists to just jump one guy. Literally,
yeah, I mean,
doing
it was probably an overt hate crime. That's why people probably hopped in and was just like, what the fuck is going on? Like, we're not gonna let this happen. This man's not just gonna get killed. They tried to put him in a chokehold and shit. You see like 3 or 4 other guys just handling one guy. Someone's gonna hop in there. I'm sorry.
Because New York, it didn't happen. When Jordan Neely was getting jumped and choked out for 15 minutes, not one person jumped in. So maybe I'm wrong for saying that maybe I expected different, because New York just allows, they just watch people get choked out and be like, it's New York.
Yeah, but if it was a gang of dudes, I think it would be a little different. They would have had a Kai Cenat type energy. Yeah, you saw them niggas rioting out in New York City.
Yeah, Kai Cenat literally just led a riot. Like the energy of that.
Don't say
that
it like
video,
that. That's irresponsible.
No, hold on. That was messed up, because like I don't think he intended that. He just told people, hey, I'm doing a fan meetup. Come to this location, and his fans are like seem to be like crazy children, 16 to like 23-year-olds who are like, their energy is like that picture of Travis Scott holding that fucking like boom mic, and it's like fire behind him. That's that energy that video gave me. They were like punching out car windows.
Yeah, hundreds of kids were out there in the streets, and they got up in a ruckus, and they just started destroying cars and like destroying property and shit like that. Just
police were
randomly.
wilding too, dude. They just grabbed this random guy and just took his head and bashed it through the back of a window.
Yeah,
they talking about destroying property. They took a random guy, took his head, and they just literally like SpongeBob his ass, just like when Mr. Krabs threw it, like he was like, rev up those fryers.
They threw him
threw him through a window. His whole face was bloody and fucked up.
Yeah.
And I saw a picture after.
Yeah. And they charged him too with inciting a riot. That's what you were saying.
Yeah, they charged him with inciting a riot. And I'm like,
that's
I
bullshit.
guess you could. It's bullshit, because it'd be different. It was like, all right, we're gonna go downtown, we're gonna destroy a whole bunch of shit. They've got us fucked up. They're writing about something fucked up that happened.
If he was on that Donald Trump shit, we gonna take this back.
Yeah.
If he was on that type of shit,
we're gonna take this back. But no, he was just like, hey guys, I want to meet with some fans. Let's come here. Because honestly, it could have happened anywhere. Even if he got a venue, people are like, he should have got a venue. If he got a venue, they want to turn up the venue.
Yeah.
We really don't know.
Yeah. I don't know too much about the legality of it, but like why, I guess because the one, person I talked to, one of our friends was talking about, I was talking about it with him, and he was talking about the fact that it's not because of the fact that he invited, they're not arresting him because of what the people did. They're arresting him because of the fact that he was the reason that led to people doing what they did and rioting in the streets and destroying property.
But this is my question. You can stretch out to anything. If Kanye was just like, "Hey guys, I'm having a public concert," and the people who show up are just crazy.
Yes.
Why would he get charged? Why am I getting charged?
You know what's a similar precedent is the Travis Scott situation at the concert, at the festival. Similar. Not the same. It's kind of apples and oranges, but you see what I mean? Like, you're the impotence. I don't know why.
You're the face of the event, so of course you're going to get.
You're the causality.
Scrutiny.
If it's not for you bringing people here and centering people in this place right here, and then everybody eventually just loses their minds and starts causing an uproar and violence ensues, then this wouldn't have happened. So we're going to have to charge you with, you're the one that's at fault, which kind of makes sense. But at the same time, it's like, well, I can't handle my celebrity. Like, are you going to, that's where it gets a little weird to me, is because if I just happen to be a celebrity and I want to meet people in a public spot, like, what if I'm just there? Is it the fact that I made like a public announcement that I was going to be at a place? Because remember, they showed up to the hotel too, the place that he was staying at. If they get rowdy there, do they charge him with something there too? Because people knew about his location, and
they probably would still charge him, and the hotel would sue him out his ass. So.
Yeah, so that's weird. Like, what am I supposed to do? Am I just supposed to like lay low and not show my face to the public?
I think in that case, I mean, I'm confused because he said meet up at a certain place. How did they know the hotel he was staying at?
I guess they just found. I don't know.
I think in that case it's different because celebrities get mobbed all the time. I don't think if someone just found out Drake was at the Ritz-Carlton and people just bum rushed the Ritz-Carlton and he didn't do anything, I don't think he's liable for anything. You can't help you're that famous.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna get sued because random crazy people are stalking me and destroying shit while they're trying to find me.
Yeah, but
that's not my fault.
It seems like the same thing for Union Square. Like that, I don't understand. Like if I say I'm going to meet people here because I'm in the city and I live here and I meet people in the city and y'all turn this shit up, that's on y'all. That's not me.
But that's the difference, is that you called attention to an area. If Drake is just minding his business,
but I didn't incite anything though.
Are chasing him down and destroying things in their wake. That's different than saying, "Hey, I'm gonna be here. Come pull up," and then they show up and destroy shit.
I didn't incite anything. Inciting to me is I show up to the place. I tell y'all to show up to the place. We get there, and I'm ramping you guys up. Hey, destroy that shit over there. Hey, beat that person up over there. Start a mosh pit over here. That's inciting. That's inciting to me. And inciting to me is not I'm gonna show up to this place because I'm here. I'm part of the local area. And now I'm hanging out with my fans. And y'all decided to turn the shit up. I shouldn't get arrested for that. That's not on me. That's on arrest the hundreds of the people that are fucking vandalizing shit, not me.
And it's probably easier because they're not going to get most of those people. They might get a couple from video, but they're not going to get most of them. It's easier to just get him and sue him and make a little money for the city. They pay some damages and move on.
Yeah.
Easier.
Let's get to this Mr. Beast thing. Let's open that up.
Yeah, man. Mr. Beast, for those who don't know, and I'd be surprised if you don't know. I think maybe our older listeners may not know him. People our age and older may not know Mr. Beast. But people younger than us, he's like the new PewDiePie on steroids.
They don't know who that is either.
He's like basically the #1 YouTuber. I think I watched a video of his the other day. He has like over 150 million. I'm pretty sure it's like over 150 million subscribers. And his videos regularly go over, like you know what I'm saying? Like when I see 100 million views on a music video, I'm like, damn, this is a popular song.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Beast breaks that shit every video, damn near.
Yeah.
He is so famous. He probably gets more viewership than most shows that come out on streaming networks.
Yeah.
Like he is a giant. He's like a media company on his own.
Yeah.
It was kind of like, I was like, damn, I knew he was big, but I was like, shit. But anyway, he got famous making videos where he would just give away a lot of money. It's honestly genius. He just gives away a lot of money, or he does a lot of challenges for people, random people who come on the show. And it's like, hey, if you stay in this circle for 12 hours, you get $1 million, or just stuff like that. But like people are entertained by like, he took the game show, like, wow, you can win money on the game show, which were very famous in the early 2000s, and he made it bite-sized into YouTube, and that was very genius. I think that was a very smart move.
Mm-hmm.
He made it YouTubeable, that whole game show, giving away a lot of money aspect and doing. It's like he kind of reminds me of like game shows mixed with like a YouTube, make it into a YouTube bite-sized video mixed with kind of like, what's that shit? Not necessarily like Daredevil, but like they do stunts. Like they have a lot of crazy ass videos where they're very high budget and they do a lot of stunts. It's like, hey, if you can predict what's gonna happen with this explosion, you win $1 million. But so people have criticized him in the past because he does a lot of questionable content. It doesn't feel genuine when he gives money or he donates. He donates a lot of money to people and he records it and it doesn't feel genuine. He had a video a few weeks, I think it was a few months ago, where I think he took a lot of people to get eye appointments and get a lot of laser eye surgery for people who They just couldn't afford it. They're legally blind, but they wouldn't be legally blind if they can afford to get the surgery. And people felt that was ungenuine. They just felt like he's spending all this money to fix people's eyesight, and he's making, I don't know how much money on top of it. Does he really care? So going into today's topic, he is playing. I don't know if anybody who doesn't know what Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is older than us.
Yeah,
that shit is from the 80s and 90s.
I'm sure we're good there.
So we're good there. But there's a new movie coming out. It has like the Spider-Verse kind of style animation, and he's playing Shredder. For our older fans, you know who Shredder is. I don't see it. I've never heard him play it. Shredder just kind of seems like what did you kill you? Kind of, you know what I'm saying?
I see with the voice acting talents. See,
I don't even know. I don't even remember what Shredder sounds like.
You've been taking lessons.
I've always felt like I could be a voice actor if I trained, if I was really serious. But like, and I was just fucking around there. I wasn't even trying 1%.
He wasn't even trying.
I don't even remember what he sounded like. I just assumed like he's just like this big ass samurai dude. I'm thinking he just sounds like a big ass deep. I can't even do it. But anyway, he's playing Shredder, and people thought that was, he's promoting the movie, and people are like, damn, you cross the SAG line. Isn't that what they call it? Cross the SAG line?
I called it the picket line, but yeah.
Or the picket line, because there are a lot of protests and boycotting going on for those in the promoting movies and those and writers.
Mm-hmm.
And writers are boycotting, shows are being pushed back because there are no writers, because writers are not being paid their due. I mean, they're getting paid pennies on a dollar, and actors too. They're getting paid pennies on the dollar. You know, they'll write an amazing script. The movie will come out and make billions of dollars, and they got paid like $1,000, $5,000. Like, no, I should get 1%. I should get at least 0.5%.
Yeah.
If you guys made $1 billion, because that's a come up. But maybe, you know, I don't know, man. I agree. I think writers should be paid more, because without writers, these movies are ass. Like and especially you in particular, you nitpick writing the most out of anybody I've ever seen. I don't. I like a good story, but I would think you would care about this the most.
Well, we were
doing this
in terms of like let's unpack the Mr. Beast thing a little bit more, because the question that I was going to pose was, did Mr. Beast cross a picket line? Yes, sure. Like, theoretically, yes. But he's not an actor. Right? So
he is now.
Is he not? Is he part of SAG, though?
Maybe, I don't know. Probably not.
He's not an actor. So he's probably not. He's probably not part of SAG. So he didn't cross any line here. I don't think the criticism falls in line with the crossing the picket line here. If he was an actor, if Mr. Beast was this is his 5th role and he was part of SAG, sure, yeah. He crossed the line. Bad Mr. Beast.
I don't know, man. That's kind of like, maybe this is probably gonna be like a ridiculous take.
Okay.
But that'd be like, if you're black and, you know, we're saying boycott this restaurant, and you're a white guy and you go to the restaurant and people are gonna be on his ass because it's like, well, you should be an ally, you should be supporting. Like, I don't care. And he's dating a black woman. Maybe him dating a black woman is him being a voice actor.
It's a union strike, though.
And he goes to the.
It's not all inclusive. It's a union strike.
I understand that, but I'm just like, it's a union strike. I understand that, but I'm like, you should at least be support. I mean, you're in the industry. Like, you're in that.
He's not part of SAG, though. If someone,
but he's an actor.
He is an actor now. Today he's an actor. All of a sudden, he's in a movie. Today, now he's an actor. He wasn't an actor before, so you could show support, and you could say, yeah, I'm down with the. If anyone asks, yeah, sure, I'm down with the unionization, and I believe in unions, and they're doing a good job. I'm not an actor though. I happen to be featured in a role. Is the role even a big role?
Shredder is the main villain.
Oh, okay, so it's a main role. So yeah, it doesn't make my point any different. I'm an actor today, and I got a big role. And I'm going to promote this shit because I'm not an actor, but I'm in a movie. I'm a YouTuber, and I'm a business owner. I own restaurants, and I'm a content maker. But today I'm an actor, so I'm going to promote my role.
Soon to be billionaire.
Has nothing to do with what I'm talking about. But yeah, that is correct. That's where I stand on it, though.
I see it, man, but people are saying they just see it's just the same. They say it's the same selfishness that you see in his videos. Like, he doesn't care about these people. He's getting a bag. He is a soulless capitalist. That's what everybody says about him. He's just a soulless capitalist. He could give a fuck about a protest. He can give a fuck about anybody poorer than him. I'm getting a bag. Oh well, I'm getting paid.
Yeah, I see that point too.
That's because it's like to not even acknowledge it is just like, fuck, like shit. Like I don't care. I'm getting a bag.
I see that point too. But I also
people think that I'm giving because I give money in a video, and that's just cost of doing business. I'm making 10, 15, 20x on that just off the endorsements and ad revenue alone.
Because you guys like to watch it. It's hard for me because I see both sides of the Mr. Beast conversation. That's why it's a little intriguing to me, because people, not only does it make it worse that he's rich, but people like to make it seem like he's disingenuous because of the things that he does. But at the same time, he's just doing the things that he does for work. I'm sure that you know how many fucking jobs there are in the world that are disingenuous jobs, that are catering towards things that are environmentally unsafe, that are catering towards racism and systemic oppression, that are catering towards extortionism and all types of different negative things in the world. No one ever is going to just point out just random people, unless they're rich. No one's ever just going to point out random people and say like, oh my God, what you're doing is so bad. Like, you're a disingenuous person. You should quit your job. You should stop doing that. I can't believe that you're talking about your job in good faith. No one's ever going to do that. That's why I see it from both sides of the argument. Because with this guy, I already said it, but who cares if he's a millionaire? I don't understand.
But
he got a job. He probably was a talented voice actor. They wanted Mr. Beast.
Yeah, I would go get a bag, right? He wants to be. That's probably his dream.
Exactly.
Honestly,
and then Universal comes to you and they're like, "Yo, Elliot, like, can you promote our film for us? You're in it too." Yeah. What are you gonna say?
But I would have been like, I'm a centimillionaire, right? The movie's already filmed, it's shot, it's ready. I'd have been like, no, because I support the people.
Not you're a centimillionaire. You, Elliot.
I'm gonna support the people because I already got paid.
You're not gonna promote that. You're not gonna.
I'm not gonna promote the film because I got paid.
They're like, hey, we want you to support this film.
They get paid up front, and I think they get some. They get some of the residuals. They get a percentage of residuals. I got paid.
Oh, so you're not
gonna support the people.
I see. I'm promoting that goddamn film.
I'll be honest though. I'll be a little honest, and I can't agree with him because he's rich. But if it was like a big ass break, and this is my first film, I might promote it because I'd be a little scared. But if I was an established actor and I'm already got money,
he's not an established actor.
No, but you didn't hear what I said though, because I prefaced it. I said that man's a centimillionaire. He got paid. I don't care if he's an actor or not. He's secured. Like Tom Cruise can afford to be like, nah, I'm good. Because that man is damn near almost a billionaire.
Why is it okay if it's your first break and it's your first film, it's your first break into film? Why is it okay for you to promote the film maybe, but he can't promote the film because he's
I'm not a millionaire?
The fuck does money have to do with anything? He's in a fucking movie. He's excited about the movie. He's not a SAG actor. He's just a one guy who happens to be rich. Would it make any difference if he was just $1 million rich?
Yeah, because I don't think that's enough. I think
it's the number of millions that the man has that makes it to where he can't be excited about the film that he's in.
He can be very excited, but he can also stand on business on people who are less fortunate.
He is standing on his business.
No, he's standing on business on getting his money
for himself.
For himself.
I'm confused, Elliot. I'm confused. You're confused.
Because you're walking. But honestly,
lines.
This is the problem with money in the world and capitalism. It's just like.
But no one's talking about money except for you, though.
Fuck y'all. I'm rich. Fuck you, I'm rich. Oh well, that's his attitude. Versus, all right, I'm
that's
rich.
Something that you're putting on to him because he happens to be a millionaire. He happens to be a millionaire, so now you're saying he's thinking "fuck you" because
there are plenty of millionaires
because he's excited about the film,
with the program.
He's excited about the first film that he's starring in, so he promoted the shit on his fucking Instagram. Big whoop!
But look at it from perspective of an actor, right? You looking through scripts. Shit. Oh, this is garbage. This is written by AI. This is garbage. This is written by AI. Wouldn't you want to be in films that are written amazingly? It's like, oh, these guys are getting paid. Now we're getting the heat. Oh, these guys are getting money. Oh, look at this. I can't even decide what film I want to be in because all these scripts are amazing. That's what I'm thinking, that the ones who have money or are going with the program, because not only is it about getting people who even allow them to be in such amazing screenplays to get paid, but they probably, when they get money, like when you see some of these like Japanese animations where this shit looks amazing, I'm like, these dudes are definitely getting paid now.
The only
some of these guys definitely got a raise.
The only projection
that's what I'm trying to say.
I don't agree. I don't agree with much of what you're saying about this topic. The only projection I make, excuse me, the only projection I make towards rich people, I'm talking about like rich, wealthy people, is that they have a probably like a little bit of a hoarding disease. Because if you're making a lot of money and you're still trying to figure out maniacal ways to make even more big money, there's
like
a
you
disease
got so
there.
much money.
Hold on, let me finish real quick.
Sorry, my bad.
But when it comes to like conversations like this, where it's like puny little people who are just a YouTuber who just happen to be making a lot of happens to be making a lot of money. By the way, because everybody loves their fucking content and continues to watch it, right? I'm not gonna put little extras on it and be like, oh, he only chose that movie because he wanted money, or he only chose that money and he's only promoting his film because he doesn't give a fuck about anybody else and he's just a greedy capitalist and he's just gonna promote his film and say fuck you. I'm not putting all the extras on it. Why can't the guy just be a content maker who everybody loves their content? He's making a lot of money of it because of it. And now a production company came to him and said, hey, we want you to be in a movie. Audition. He auditioned. He was the perfect fit for the role. And now he's excited that he's in a fucking movie for the first time and decided to put some promotion on his fucking Instagram. Why can't it just be that? Why do we have to add all the character shit to it?
Okay. I mean, fine. We could just see it like he's a YouTuber, got a lucky break, #1 successful YouTuber. He just makes content and he's just making money. But I'm just like, I agree. Fine. We can look at it like that. Cool. Fine, right? But I'm trying to look at it from perspective of, I even just made a conversation to switch my perspective to screenplays, right? Writers are not getting paid and they literally make the movie. They are literally like 80% of a movie. We can argue the percentages. I feel that
I would argue
they are literally we can get I'd even agree with 60. I'd even agree with being talked down to 60. That's the lowest I go.
They write the film.
Because like you could have the best director, the best actors,
but what
the
about
best
it?
musicians. If the movie is ass, the movie is ass.
But what about it?
You don't want to pay these people their just due. I just can't get down with that. I just feel like him not caring just tells me everything I need to know. Like there are plenty of people who are excited about the projects they're in, and they're like, damn, if we don't have good writers, we don't have shit. You're already seeing how that them boycotting and protesting is shutting down the movie industry, but people still think it's okay for them not be paid anything, and he's just like, I don't care. I'm gonna promote the movie. I don't care if he's in SAG or not. It's just logic. He's a public figure who's acting casually. They're still gonna get in his ass for the same reasons. I don't care if he's SAG or not.
I give him the benefit of the doubt for some reason. I don't know. I give him the benefit of the doubt.
But that's all I really got to say.
I guess it speaks a lot to me, because if I were to be in his position, and this was my first movie, I was in TMNT, and I'm playing a major role, and this is the first acting gig I've ever gotten, I'm promoting that goddamn shit, and I'm telling all of my people in my network to go watch that fucking film. I don't give a fuck. I'm not part of SAG. I don't even get the benefits of SAG. So why the fuck do I care about not promoting my shit? I'm not with y'all, and y'all not with me. If you,
that's fine.
But that's we can leave it at
no.
that.
We got it. We can agree to disagree, and I understand your argument, and I agree with it. But I'm also just like, dude, you can't get mad at people getting your ass though. I'm not even. That's all I'm gonna say.
Because I see both sides,
dude. Yeah, you can't get mad at people on getting your ass because, like, dude, you got enough money. But that's all I gotta say. Let's move into deep cuts.
All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in for the Top Tier Podcast. Another good one in the books. We'll catch you same place, same time next week for a new episode. I forget what my thing is. It's been a couple of weeks. I forget what my what do I say? Nowhere to find us, same place, same time. I think I said that already. Anyway.
Yeah.
Peace, yo.
Peace, yo. Take it easy. Okay.